It's my feel-good breakfast show.
These days, we're spending a lot less time at home and more so at work, which leads to people having a closer connection, and thus the phenomenon of the office or work spouse is very, very prevalent these days.
So the question is, what is the work spouse? Well, in a nutshell, it's someone like a co-worker that you have a special bond with and a personal bond. In the office, they're your person, the person that gets you.
Yeah, so the question is, how do these relationships actually form? We went to the offices of Ogilvy, Cape Town to find out. Take a look.
I think there is some truth that in order to succeed in modern work life, it certainly helps to have a work husband or a work wife. I think having a confidant, a source of support, just somebody that one can go to bounce ideas off of, or just to lighten up some of the heavier moments, definitely has a tremendous amount of value.
I've been here for 9 years. I think 8 of the 9, Ant has been my office spouse.
So you were unhappy for a whole year?
Before I met you, yeah.
Yeah, before me. I think, the real truth is that I was terrified of Karen for the first year, and now I'm just mostly terrified of Karen for the next 8 years. So it is a bit like a marriage.
13 years.
13 years.
Yeah.
It's been a long relationship in the making. She knows exactly when I need some time out, so she'll always tell me go take an afternoon, go do something fun.
He knows if my child slept well at night. He knows everything about me.
She knows if I went to gym or if I didn't go to gym.
And just make sure that each other's okay, ne? Hey?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it was actually my first day that I joined Ogilvy. The place that I was sitting at, Claire was also sitting there. She just walked into the office and looked like she had no friends.
You wanted it to start off as boyfriend and girlfriend?
It was me. It was all me.
But it didn't really work out.
No.
I think we were destined for greater things.
Greater things, work, husband and wife.
Yeah.
So we worked together for 3 years, 5 years ago. So we've worked out 3.5 years in total with a 5-year trial separation in between.
Yeah.
And obviously we're back together, so the trial separation wasn't so trial.
Okay, so my real husband also works at Ogilvy, and I think we're very respectful. He's got a work wife, Sarah, who's off on maternity leave. She's amazing, and I fully respect their relationship. They've also worked together for 10 years.
Fascinating stuff. Ooh, I love this. I really, really do. So we're going to talk about all of this. Our relationship and resident doctor and psychologist is in our studio, Dr. Eve, better known as Marlene Basserman. She's going to be here to talk us through the dynamics, this work-spouse relationship stuff.
Yeah. And we're taking your calls as well, right? On 0839133728. Let's begin. Let's talk about it, Dr. Eve, because statistics reveal that 1 in 3 people have this office or work spouse relationship thing going on.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on having an office spouse?
Well, it was just interesting for me while the insert is playing to watch the spousal couple have a little tiff over here.
Yeah. Katlego and I.
You gave me a real example of a work-spouse relationship. We didn't have to look
Like I
further
said,
than
she's a
that.
difficult wife.
He's not even present.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, but what are your thoughts?
You know, the situation lends itself to intimacy. And you have to consider what is intimacy. Intimacy develops when there are 3 things that are present, which is proximity, commonality, and familiarity. So you work in an environment where it is a perfect growth place for that intimacy to develop. You've got commonality because obviously in the same place because you have the same interests, so you have a lot to talk about all the time. There's a lot of familiarity because you're spending so much time together. And then there is a proximity, which means that you're together in a physical space all the time.
Yeah.
Now, most people don't even have that with their partners who they live with at home or don't even live together, but the intimate relationship is supposed to have. So it becomes kind of a difficult situation to manage, because what are the rules? And I always talk about rules.
I'm glad you said that, because there is a line in the sand, and Katlego and I were speaking about it earlier, like where do you draw the line with your office spouse and then with the person that you are at home with? What do you bring to the office, what don't you? They always say that with office spouses, emotion comes later on, and then if it's a romantic, like if it's a crush, then the emotion becomes first and then physical later. I mean, how does that work? Is it the purest form of relationship, the spouse thing at work?
Well, you know, I think when I was reading about this, thought about my book, Infidelity, where the emotional part of the relationship is most prevalent. And people say, oh, it's not real, it's not really happening because there isn't the physicality. Well, we can say the same for the office spouse situation. It's in real life, of course, but there is the emotionality. How dare we undermine the importance of emotional connection. It is absolutely vital to a relationship. Unless, of course, you're only looking for no strings attached sex. Then it's about sexuality. But the emotional development, I think also we've got to put it into a different context, at different forms of relationship, and people shouldn't really be threatened. These are inevitable. You work together, you're colleagues. It's a nice feeling. You want to come to work if you've got somebody who you know that you can share with and spend time with. We shouldn't push them aside and say it's either or, that we either have a spouse or else we have an office spouse. I don't see why we shouldn't have both, as long as there's no secrecy, and as long as there's a boundary which is mutually agreed upon by both people. In other words, where there isn't an abusive setup.
But let's talk about that, because Ilona and I were arguing about whether you should tell your partner at home, this is now your husband or wife, about your work spouse. Because with some different personalities, you get people that are overly jealous. So once you start mentioning this, it gives them cause to start worrying about things that they maybe should not be at all. When should you be telling? And
I would want.
Is your girlfriend watching right now?
No, what do you mean, my girlfriend? What are you talking about?
If you're watching, this is my work spouse. Okay.
Get over it.
Listen, okay, this is getting very heated right now, but we're going to be taking your call, 0839133728, as we continue talking about the work spouse phenomenon with Dr. Eve, and then also in the kitchen, we're going to be making a very cheesy pull-apart loaf. Hey, we'll be right back.
You.
Office spouse,
You're something else, man.